Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta have this conversation because why is it that every single time when there's a new RPG title releasing and on the rise and having all the hype, we have to somehow compare it to Persona 5? Why do we do that? Wow, alright. Sorry about that, but I kind of had to grab your attention here for a minute, but do understand that, and you know, I feel a whole lot better now that I got that out of the way. But yes, the reason why I want to make this is to let you all know to stop comparing Shin Megami Tensei V to that of Persona 5 if you have done so already, or for those that are about to do it, to remind you all that Shin Megami Tensei V and Persona 5 are not the same game in terms of gameplay design, game design, and RPG elements. These two may seem similar to one another just because they are both Atlus IPs, but they share completely different quality of lifestyles and story elements when it comes down to each of their entries. The only thing that remains the same are the demons and somewhat of a battle system, but other than that, they are completely different games. Also, you have to understand that from a game history perspective, Shin Megami Tensei came before Persona. In fact, Persona was originally called Shin Megami Tensei Persona, and before Shin Megami Tensei Persona, it was called Shin Megami Tensei IV. So Persona as a whole is a sub-series, a spin-off series to that of Shin Megami Tensei, and so I wanted to throw this out there in case people want to compare these games and also understand that they are, again, two completely different aspects of what Atlus makes in terms of their RPGs. However, that's not the point that I'm trying to stress here, because the point that I actually want to stress and emphasize here is that we have to make sure to avoid the comparisons of Persona 5 to that of Shin Megami Tensei 5 or any other RPG title that comes in our way. We saw that happening with Neo: The World Ends With You, and perhaps we may have saw it with Dragon Quest XI as well. But in the context of Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Persona 5, once again, the comparison shouldn't really be made. The Shin Megami Tensei 5 is not Persona 5 in any means or methods in terms of how it's designed, and that is an absolutely good thing to understand and acknowledge. Also, comparing RPG titles and Shin Megami Tensei to Persona 5 is extremely ignorant and dumb, and can also cheapen the experience of what these RPG titles are trying to do for the player. It makes it seem as if Persona 5 was this outlandish and amazing RPG game, and although it was, but it makes it to the point where like it broke the foundation of the RPG genre and is now the gospel of all RPGs, and if it's not like Persona 5, then the game isn't worth playing. And that's the reason why I want to say avoid the comparison at all costs, because it will cheapen what these RPG titles are trying to do, and it will sort of ruin the experience of what the player wants to experience in these games. Again, there are much better games personally that do a much better job at storytelling, gameplay, and game design than what Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal did, even though those are extremely good RPG titles in their own merit. A bunch of others that do a much better job than what those games did are obviously the Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and even the previous Shin Megami Tensei games that preceded the Persona franchise. Now, I am not saying that you can't use Persona 5 as the basis of your argument if you want to review or critique Shin Megami Tensei 5 in the future. What I am saying here is that don't make it seem as if Persona 5 is the gospel of all RPG titles, and if these future RPG titles, such as SMTV or others in the future, do not have, if any or all elements that Persona 5 presented, therefore the game sucks and it is not worth your time. Do not make this comparison, because once again, it will make you sound really dumb, ignorant, and will cheapen and ruin the experience of you diving into a unique atmosphere and world that these RPG titles are presenting. SMT5 is going to present a different atmosphere than what Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal presented, and a good example of what I mean of how you're going to sound dumb, take a good look at the Polygon article and how that article was trash talked to hell and back. All I want to say before ending this video is that with Shin Megami Tensei V arriving in 2 weeks time on November the 11th, it is important that we appreciate and embrace the game for what it is rather than comparing it for what it isn't. Shin Megami Tensei V is a Shin Megami Tensei game and not a Persona game, so the rules they follow for their RPG titles are vastly different than that of each of the Persona entries. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne and Persona 3 and 4 are perfect examples of the unique and different approaches that they have for the RPG genre, and if you haven't done so already, they are perfect to try out as well. Shin Megami Tensei V is also looking like a good game for many newcomers to dive into the Shin Megami Tensei franchise and understand how this franchise led to the foundation of the Persona RPG formula. That alone makes me very excited to see the full extent of what Shin Megami Tensei V has to offer in the confounds of a Shin Megami Tensei game. And thus we now conclude today's video, and I hope to see what you guys have in store for me in the comment section down below. Are you very excited for Shin Megami Tensei V? Did you already make the comparison of Shin Megami Tensei V to Persona 5? If so, leave all of that in the comment section below, and I can't wait to read what you guys have in store there. That being said, now for those that have been here for a very long time, you guys know how I like to end it. Keep being awesome, keep spreading love and kindness to the world, because I know you guys can and I know I can as well. So let's make sure to at least do one act of kindness each and every day to someone out there who needs it, especially in these times. Keep improving yourselves by 1%, because by improving by 1% can go a long way towards making a better tomorrow. Know that I love you guys forever and always to 120, and I can't wait to see you all in that next fantastic video. Remember guys, stay freaking sexy and take care.